Hi, I'm Jonathan Davidson. I want to tell you about how you can get the grades you want in college, build a highly useful network of contacts, develop a personal philosophy of success and accomplishment, and still have time to have a life. This is a mixture that very few students are able to achieve in college, but a few do. You'll see students like this on your campus. They'll be at the top of their classes, even though they don't seem like they study at all. They also work or start businesses, they're publishing papers or helping professors with research projects and going on trips. And somehow they still have time to relax, play sports, or do the other activities that they love. How can they accomplish all of this? Well, I have good news for you. These kinds of students aren't geniuses. In fact, they're a lot like you and me. The only real difference is that they have developed a study system that helps them achieve incredible academic success with minimal effort, giving them the time to pursue their other goals and dreams. You can also achieve this same level of success once you learn how to develop a strong study system. I know this is possible because developing a good study system transformed my college experience, taking me from a point where I was failing half my classes to where I am now, finishing college with a 3.9 GPA while consistently studying hours less per week than my classmates, and even less time than I did when I was failing. During my time in college, I also wrote a novel, and I'm currently working on my second novel. I climbed Mount Whitney, the tallest mountain in the continental US, twice, went mountain biking several times a week, started a non-profit, and I'm currently working on taking a language learning product to market. I've also kept dating my high school sweetheart, the most beautiful, wonderful woman in the world, and will marry her later this month. Developing a strong study system gave me the time to do all of this, plus more, while maintaining an almost perfect GPA. But things weren't always going so well for me. When I first started college, I really struggled. I failed a lot of classes and barely passed music theory, even though I was a lead guitarist in a band. I only did marginally well in classes that involved English because I like to read and write, but I struggled in everything else. No matter how much I studied, I never seemed to be able to remember enough of the material to do really well on tests. What was even more frustrating was that these classes seemed effortless to some of the really good students. They hardly studied, and they would get A's on everything. At that point, I thought that these kinds of students were just geniuses, born with a sponge-like brain that just soaks up everything. But then something happened to me in my introductory psychology class that changed my life and showed me that the top students, the ones who effortlessly get 4.0s, aren't geniuses at all. They have simply made use of the best study techniques and lifestyle choices that lead to powerful learning. Sometimes they aren't even aware of what they're doing right, but somehow they have naturally developed lifestyle habits and study techniques that help them learn much faster than everyone else. The good news for you is that these lifestyle choices and habits and study techniques can be learned and applied so that you can become a top student too. So what brought me to this realization? It was actually a study technique called the spacing effect. In my introductory psychology class, my professor mentioned that a study technique called the spacing effect had saved her in graduate school. She briefly told us about the technique. The spacing effect is based on the fact that our brain can only build neural pathways so strong at one time. For example, when you learn a new piece of information, your brain starts making these neural connections so it can access that information later. The problem is that it can't build the neural pathway very strong in one sitting. What builds those connections stronger is spaced repetition, or reviewing that information again at a later time. So, our teacher said that after becoming aware of this, she started spacing her study instead of cramming so that her brain had time to strengthen those neural pathways. She also told us that it's the number of spaced exposures to information, not the amount of time spent with the information in one sitting, that makes the real difference. Let's look at an example to see how the spacing effect works. Let's say that you have a test coming up in a week. If you review everything for that test once a day for a week, for a total study time of 3 hours, You will probably do much better than a student who studied for 6 hours on the day of the test because you gave your pathways time to strengthen. So, even though you studied for half the time, you still got a better grade. I was blown away when I heard about this technique. I'd always heard that you're supposed to study ahead of time for tests, but I didn't understand the reasoning behind it. I realized that I was wasting tons of time by trying to cram for exams. So, I started using the spacing effect from that point on. My grades instantly improved. I didn't fail any more classes. I also found that I could study a lot less and still get better grades because it wasn't the amount of time spent studying that counted, but it was the number of spaced repetitions that made the difference. From that moment on, I got addicted to study techniques. It was awesome to realize that if I studied properly, I could study less and get even better grades. I started researching and quickly found several more techniques that were just as powerful as the spacing effect. I had also taken a class when I started college, which taught me the most efficient way to read and review textbooks. The technique had already helped me a lot, but as soon as I integrated it with the spacing effect, I started saving hours of time per week and still got better grades. So, after combining this reading method with the spacing effect and the other techniques I was learning, I developed a study system that got me all A's and only one B for the next 3 years of college. I quickly went from failing half my classes to being the top student in almost every class. I also had a lot more time to do the things I loved. Because of these experiences and the success I've been able to achieve using this study system, I decided to put together a program to teach you how you can achieve those same results. Easy 4.0 is the end result of that decision. Easy 4.0 will teach you all of the techniques that you need to completely transform your college experience. You will learn in detail how to apply the spacing effect, one of the most powerful study techniques in existence, to your studying. You'll also learn the textbook reading method that I mentioned, which, when combined with the spacing effect, will truly change your college experience. You'll also learn several other study techniques that will decrease the amount of time you need to study while helping you get to the top of your classes. While these individual study methods are great, Easy 4.0 will help you develop something much more valuable. It teaches you how to develop that study system that incorporates all the best study techniques and lifestyle habits into your daily routine. It's in creating this study system that you'll notice the most dramatic improvements in your grades and in the amount of free time you have. Easy 4.0 will also teach you how to develop a personal philosophy of success that will benefit you in college and throughout the rest of your life. Perhaps the biggest reason why I created Easy 4.0 is because there was a great need for a compact program that really helps people like you become top students. When I was struggling in college, I wanted a compact, easy-to-understand guide that would teach me the secrets of the most successful students. Instead, I only got thick How to Succeed in College books that reminded me of my textbooks. The books said that they would teach me how to keep my roommate happy, how to unclog the toilet, and how to take good notes, and just how to survive in college. But they didn't seem to have the kinds of secrets that would make me a top student. I wanted something deep and profound. I wanted to know the fundamental differences in the behavior in the best students and the people like me who were struggling. And I just wasn't finding them. Instead of focusing on frivolous study techniques like use note cards or take good notes and use a highlighter, Easy 4.0 exposes those fundamental habits of the best students and then gives easy-to-understand instructions so you can adopt those same habits. I promise you won't find any fluff. This program is designed to only help you with what's really important, which is mastering a study system that yields the greatest results with the least amount of effort, how to build a network of people that can propel you into an awesomely successful life, and how to transform yourself so you can achieve your full potential, both in college and afterward. This program is not for someone who just wants to party in college. This program is for someone who wants to excel in their academics and still have time to enjoy themselves.